What's going on, Falcon fans? This is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. So, last week of the season, unfortunately for these Atlanta Falcons, we're going to talk about Desmond Ritter. Have the Falcons seen enough to say that they're comfortable with him moving forward? Also, we're going to get into my last keys of victory for this final game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here to talk about. And please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, of course, before I get into some Falcon talk today, I want to send my prayers out to Damar Hamlin, the young safety from the Buffalo Bills. Still in critical condition. I think the world, everybody who watches football was really, came together that night to hope this young man have a good recovery back. Football is not important, for him right now. It's all about getting his life back, getting back on track and things like that. So, like I said, prayers go out to Damar Hamlin. I think that's the first time we ever seen something like that in professional sports. To my knowledge, I know in basketball it was a guy that actually died on the basketball court. He had a arrhythmic heart, problems. So, but other than that, from football standpoint, we know it's a man's game. One of my favorite sport in the world. I used to watch the football. So, but at the end of the day, it's really dangerous. You go out there, you risk your life. Dudes running that fast, that hard, things like that happen. But I think what we seen on Thursday night was something different. And I think that football at that point was really not the thing. It was about making sure that young man is not going to lose his life. So, like, once again, I just want to give my prayers and thoughts to Damar Hamlin and his family, and hope he has a good recovery and get back soon. Still haven't heard, we heard that he was progressing, but still not the news that we all hoping to hear, that he's up. He's they still don't have him sedated and he's talking, and that's what we want to hear. So hopefully we hear that soon. So that's what I got. Before we start, let's get into these Atlanta Falcons. So before I get into Desmond Ritter, definitely got to go over the injury report for this last game. Really not a big injury report for the Atlanta Falcons. For the Atlanta Falcons, for the most part, Cordell Patterson sat out for a rest day. Get the veteran preference there. Elijah Wilkins will not be at practice today, but everybody else that that's here, that's going to finish out this last game, is going to be present. Still have Felipe Franks going through the protocol, but he did going to get him out there, get him ramped back up. So other than that, no injury news for the Atlanta Falcons. However, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which to my surprise, they're actually planning on putting their starters out there. They already got the NFC South locked up. They know they planning the wild cards weekend, but I guess they still want to make sure they get rhythm going into the playoffs. So I guess I understand. I definitely probably would arrest some of my guys, older guys, especially Tom Brady, 45 years old, going out there putting himself at risk, because Atlanta Falcons gonna bring it. He better know that. So, but they want to get rhythm, things like that. I understand you don't want to be a little rusty going into the playoffs. Look like they're going to be playing the Dallas Cowboys, but they host a home game, so that's going to be an interesting wild card matchup. Of course, Dallas got a better team, but in the playoffs, right, it's 0-0. All that stuff is out the window, so that's going to be interesting. But from an injury standpoint, guys that was out today that did not practice was Julio Jones, Carlton Davis, Logan Ryan, Donovan Smith, and Vita Vea. A couple of guys that was limited: Mike Edwards, Carl Nassib, Tristan Wirth. They was limited today in practice. So that's the injury report going into the last game. Like I said, it's going to be exciting. I'm excited. I know it's the last game of the season. And believe it or not, this is one of my favorite seasons as an Atlanta Falcon fan. Such a young team, um, such unknown because we was coming into the season. We didn't have our franchise quarterback there anymore. Didn't know what to expect. Expectations for me was higher than they finished. But we saw how it ramped up. They just could not get over the hump in so many games, but it was fun for me this season, and I'm so excited by the future. And we'll talk about that, in later videos that I do this off season because we got so much to talk about. So I don't want to get too much into the off season so much. What I do want to talk about Desmond Ritter to start off. And the first thing we're going to talk about with Desmond Ritter is the 4-game sample size. Usually, when you put a quarterback out there and you you only give him 4 games, in my opinion, and I don't know how other people feel about this. In my opinion, I don't think that's enough games to determine whether Desmond Ritter can actually be a starter in the NFL. Definitely not enough games. It's just going to be incomplete. You just have to factor in so many different things if you and put it in context of how he performed the first 2 games. The Falcons. I mean, his statistically, if you want to go off stats, I know a lot of people looking at the statistics and things like that. Stats 59%. Um, you know, in percentage, like 76% QBR, something like that. But if you just look at some of the things that Desmond Ritter has done in these 4 games, I think you could the positive. So what I like to do first, I'm always a positive person. That's what I do. So when I talk about Desmond Ritter, the first thing that I noticed about Desmond Ritter, and like I said, you had to put it in the context. Because think about the defenses he had to go up against. He went up against the New Orleans Saints, which was a pretty solid defense, veteran guys out there. The Baltimore Ravens, and then you know Cardinals team that was really they was bringing the heat. They was trying to put some pressure on Desmond Ritter to speed him up in his processes and things like that. So I thought that was really um, different contrast to defense. But in my opinion, 3 solid defenses that he went up against. Um, and his poise, he showed a lot of poise in all those games. Um, so that's my first thing that I really want to talk about is just the poise that Desmond Ritter showed. What's going on, Kevin? I mean, you that's the first key. You got to look at and think about the poise that he showed. Um, Control of the offense, right? He really had he really have shown good control of the offense. I mean, he calling audibles, things that you see that veterans do, right? You get up and read the defense, checking plays, doing things, getting his offensive line, communicating. You can hear it, especially in the Atlanta game. It was really good to see that for him, the control of the offense, right? Situational football. I think his situational football has really been good. I mean, and we don't see Desmond Ritter in the first 3 games make 3 big throws in the game. In the Aints game, he made a big throw on 4th down. We don't know how that game would have turned out. Of course, we know that Drake London fumbled the ball, but that was a big throw. That was a 4th down throw. Another situation we had in Baltimore, the same throw. It was poised, situational, getting it on big down. He actually made that throw to Drake London again, another fumble, right? And then in the Cardinals game, that 3rd down he made to McCole Pruitt, right? Those are situational football. He actually got a drive, so we can say Desmond Ritter. If you want to look at a quarterback that had his first career NFL comeback, his 3rd game, his 3rd start of the season. So he actually put together a drive. He made some crucial throws on there. Yes, the running game is going, but that's our identity, running that ball. But you have to be able to make the crucial throws when you need to make them. And I felt like Desmond Ritter has shown that, right? And then the last thing is he has been taking care of the football. Now, that first game, we some questionable throws there. Definitely could see where he could have thrown a couple of picks, right? One got called back because the guy didn't have his feet in bounds, right? But I think no interception so far. So those are the positive things that you want to see, especially from a rookie quarterback. Of course, the negative things, of course, because you can't always be positive on everything, right? So, questionable things about accuracy, right? He got to be a little bit more accurate on his throws. I think that comes with just his feet. Got to make sure his feet is set, because a lot of guys don't understand when you're throwing the ball as a quarterback. You have to have your feet set, right? That's how you get those high throws, those inaccurate throws. You don't want to be throwing off balance like that, because especially when you're trying to put the ball into specific places, you got to be accurate with the football. So accuracy on some throws definitely need to improve on that. And then the last thing is, don't want him to get tunnel vision too much on Drake London. I love the chemistry between those guys, but you know, don't just get to the point where you're thinking you have to go to Drake London all the time. It has worked out for him so far, but just don't want to get too tunnel vision. And at the end of the day, guys, that's really not a lot of negative things that I want to talk about. So, in my opinion, just to sum it all up, for Drake London, first 4 games, it's not enough sample size. And Kevin says here, um, you're right, it's not enough to fairly evaluate full ability. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. Um, he has made critical throws. Not his fault. Drake could hold him. He just said it, right? Everything I just said, Kevin put it in a nutshell. So that's where you want to be. He says here, you can say Ritter displayed enough skill set to at least have us not need to draft a quarterback in the first round. We're going to get to that. Yes, a great point. I'm glad you brought it up, 330. Then let's see here. Do you think the Falcons should get Lamar or stick with Ritter? We're going to talk about that too. So we just talked about going to get a drafty, and then we were talking about getting a veteran quarterback. So let's go on to, and the first thing I want to talk about is the veteran quarterback standpoint. So, great questions, guys. Great conversation. We definitely gonna be able to have on this. Do you think the Falcons should? Think we just talked about that one. And the last one here. Are you interested in Lamar Jackson? See, so guys, right on point, right on point. We talk about the veteran quarterback, right? So, first of all, let's just go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, which is Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota is still under contract for next year. Now, they can release him, and I think they had like $1 million in dead cap, but they have to release him before March. So, right after that new league year, they have to go ahead and release him, and he'll be an unrestricted free agent. Or they're going to keep him and bring him back for like $12 million. So that's the first quarterback, veteran quarterback. We know he knows offense. Is I think he's a solid backup right now. But the question is, in my opinion, did he quit on the team or not? That's really one of the questions we really need to think about. So the first guy we're going to talk about, Desmond Ritter, in my opinion, my humble opinion, release him. Right? We need to try to go somewhere else. Right. But the question is, if we release Marcus Mariota, where do we go for our veteran? Right? Where do we go if we're going to go the route of bringing in a veteran quarterback? So what I did was I went and looked at all the unrestricted free agents that's out there next year. Of course, we can make trades and things like that, right? So we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson in just a minute, but let's just go look at the unrestricted free agents first of all. And I'm not impressed with the unrestricted free agent list. So first of all, Sam Darnold, no. Teddy Bridgewater, no. Jimmy Garoppolo, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jacoby Brissett. None of those guys ring being a solid backup quarterback to me for this team. I mean, they I think that's what they are. They are all backup quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo questionable. He could be a starter. He has took the team to the Super Bowl, to the team to NFC Championship game twice. It's questionable, right? Geno Smith was having a great season, kind of fell off. Um, Sam Darnold, of course not. Daniel Jones, of course not. Jacoby Brissett, like I said, a solid backup, but I don't know if he fit the scheme that the Atlanta Falcons want to run. Um, Tom Brady is going to be a unrestricted free agent. I'm definitely going to say a no on that. Um, I know people like, well, you go up, but he's 45 years old, so I'm gonna say no on Tom Brady. But yes, Tom Brady will be an unrestricted free agent next year. And then, last but not least, another unrestricted free agent is Lamar Jackson. So Lamar Jackson is going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. But I think we all agree if they do not get a contract signed, they're going to franchise tag him. So even though he's going to be an unrestricted free agent, they're going to go ahead and franchise tag Lamar Jackson for next season. Um, so do that would be, I mean, the Falcons tried to go out and get Deshaun Watson. So we know that the Falcons want to get a franchise quarterback in here. All right, especially with all the things that Deshaun Watson had going on. The Falcons tried to go out and get him. Right, Lamar Jackson, former NFL MVP, would work perfect in this offensive scheme that Arthur Smith runs. So the question is, do you want to go ahead and pay that ransom right away with a guy like Lamar Jackson when you still got so many holes to fill on this team? Like you could, but once again, you got to say, well, if you don't have a franchise quarterback, you don't have anything. So you could spin it any way you want to try to figure out a good reason why you would go get Lamar Jackson, or the reason why you feel like you want to go in a different direction and build a team around a young quarterback, i.e., like the Seattle Seahawks did when they went and got like guy like Russell Wilson, or what the Buffalo Bills did when they got Josh Allen. I mean, Allen, and they let him grow into being the quarterback that he is today, right? So you can look at some different ways to do it. The San Francisco 49ers, they went out and traded and got a good system quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo. They didn't have to break the bank on him. So those some of the things that you really can consider. Or do you want to go out and go for it and break the bank and get a guy like Lamar Jackson, because he's gonna cost you a lot. Do we have the salary cap, the space to do it? This year we definitely do. Um, so if they decide, well, we're not gonna franchise tag you, we're just gonna let you go off and be an unrestricted free agent, then we could go that route and try to sign Lamar Jackson right away. I don't think that would happen. I really would believe that it would have to be a trade with the Baltimore Ravens if we was going to get Lamar Jackson. So it would be probably something like a sign a trade, something like that. That's really the only way I would see us getting Lamar Jackson. But I'm really up in the air on it. To be honest with you guys, I don't know. I'm really, because it would be exciting to have somebody like Lamar Jackson. Because he's perfect for this offensive scheme that Arthur Smith runs, Vic 2.0. Like I said, he can throw the ball. It's not, he's not going to go out there and throw for 3,000, 4,000 yards like Matty Ice, but he's a decent throw up the ball. But that running game would be so dynamic with a guy like Lamar Jackson. So I'm just going to say, if they decide to go that route, it would be interesting to see how they would have to do it. I think they would have to do it via trade, not going into the free agent market. So that's one of the things we have to talk about with Lamar Jackson, right? It's been rumored. I think we've been talking about it all season. I don't know if you've seen the interview from um, John Harbaugh today. He didn't want to talk about it because Lamar still didn't practice again today. And in my opinion, I wouldn't practice no more. I wouldn't play no more this season if I were Lamar Jackson. As for his money, they didn't want to pay him. He got injured, right? He's on his last, year his contract. Don't have no security and finances. So that's why you don't know the relationship right now between the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson. So it could definitely be a possibility where he wants to get traded. And if that's the case, the Falcons can try to go out and make a deal for him. That's definitely an option. I'm not going to say yay or nay on it because couldn't complain if they go out and get a guy like Lamar Jackson. But if they did not, they decided not to, I wouldn't be upset with that either. So either way, for me, And I explain the reason why in just a minute. Why I feel the way I feel either way, because like I talked about earlier, um, the way the Falcons have went about this process in these last 2 years, it's just a good formula to have. You don't know how it's gonna end up. We still got to see. But right now, I feel like the process that the Falcons have done, considering the situation they came in, you really really have to give these guys credit to be coming to a franchise where the salary cap was as bad as it was, and for the last two seasons, they really had to put two different teams together just to be able to compete in games. Last season was a little bit more of a veteran team that they brought in. And that showed, right? Because we won 7 games. We won more of those one score games last year with that more of a veteran team. However, I think this team was more talented this year, but we had a younger team, right? It was a lot of more younger guys. Um, here on this team, which is a good thing for the future. But trying to win games in big moments, young guys just don't get it. And then of course we had a veteran quarterback, a guy like Matty Ice last year as well. Definitely is gonna win some games for you, way he did last season. So you have to put those things in perspective. But these 2 seasons that the Atlanta Falcons put together, with the restraints that they had with the salary cap and the way they had to build a roster. You got to remember, guys, they're going to have 28 free agents this year. So it's going to be a whole nother different team again next year because of the way the salary cap and how they had to do these last 2 years. That is, to me, is really, really impressive. And then you got to think about it. Their draft classes from the first 2 seasons have really, really played a lot of snaps, and most of them is played really well. So you have to like the way they're building this. So what the point I'm making about Lamar Jackson is, if the Falcons decide to just continue, the way they doing, you have a young quarterback like Desmond Ritter. Like I said, 4 games is not enough for a sample size. You want to build around him. If you decide to go that route and decide to build around a Desmond Ritter, put the defense, um, get some veterans in free agency, get another great draft class, draft some good solid defenders, get some pass rush, some secondary help in the safety position, cornerback position, right? If you're able to do that and then get some more weapons, some more keys for Desmond Ritter, another receiver, make sure that offensive line is improving somehow. Make sure you get a left guard. If you have to upgrade the center position, maybe things like that, and then you can do it that way, right? Or you want to go the other route, like I just talked about, bring in that franchise quarterback, all right, and then fill in the gaps with what you're gonna have left in salary cap space and with your draft picks, because more than likely you're gonna have to trade for Lamar Jackson. You're gonna be giving up draft capital, and that contract that he's gonna sign, in the first year, you might be able to kind of finagle the salary caps room, so you will be able to sign more guys in that first year. But it's going to catch up with you in the long run, because quarterbacks, especially franchise quarterbacks, they get paid a lot. And what Lamar Jackson asking, he's asking for a Deshaun Watson type contract. So it's going to be a big deal. He won't fully guaranteed money. And if the Falcons go after him, that's what they're going to have to give up. So went a little long-winded talk about Lamar Jackson, getting some of you guys' comments. Although we had Ritter for 4 years cheap, that's a great point, right? That's why I said we could go that route, build around Desmond Ritter, build his team up, right? We just don't need him to lose the games, right? We just need him to be able to manage the game well, make those key throws like I talked about, get better and better and better. That's what we could do. So definitely, I think we got him for 4 years, like you just mentioned. I think the kid should have started by the way he played in the preseason. A little I've seen in the game, He's acute and throws the ball. Yes, I agree with you. Um, Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really on the Marcus Mariota bandwagon to start the season because I wanted us to try to win. So I wanted to start with a veteran guy. I thought Marcus Mariota was gonna revamp his career. I won't even lie to you. But after the Carolina game, I had gave up on Marcus Mariota. So the second Carolina game, matter of fact, not the first one, the second one. I mean, just that play and just singed in my head is when he would fall into the ground and he just threw the ball up in the air. I mean, that play alone to me just said that yeah, we need to make a change. But Desmond Ritter played great in the preseason. I agree with you, but I don't think he was ready yet. I'm really honest. I think we would have started off worse than what we did. Of course, we lost so many games in a row, and I think to your point, we could have made a switch during that time frame when we was in that losing streak. But started off, I thought Marcus Mariota was the right choice, but I think the leash should have been a little. Um, he shouldn't have had such a long leash. Should have pulled them a little bit sooner than they did. But good point though. Um, the dome was not full at all versus the Cardinal. Yeah, like I said, we got fair weather fans, man. That's what we got. The Falcons not in the playoff anymore. Fair weather fans. I'll be there on Sunday though. Last game of the season, man. Let's see here. Lamar will be a free agent unless he get franchised. Exactly, he will be a free agent. But I don't see the Baltimore Ravens just let him go for free. They don't have a option at quarterback right now. I mean, Huntley is not the answer to their quarterback position. So Lamar Jackson got him right where he wanted him at, right? He proved that they need him. So if they don't come up with agreement on a contract extension, they definitely going to franchise tag him. That's why I said the only option is a trade. Potentially, if the Falcons give away they first round draft pick, they could potentially pick as high as 6 right now. That could get them one of those quarterbacks. We're going to talk about some draftee quarterbacks in just a minute, but um, you know, that could say we're going to trade you Lamar Jackson. You give us your 6th pick, right? And we'll see can we get one of those quarterbacks. That could be a route the Baltimore Ravens want to go. But right now, they don't have an option at quarterback. So they're going to franchise tag him if they can't come up with a contract extension. Um, what's good? What's going on, Ryan Smith? I would rather have Ritter a beat cheap on his shoulders. Paying Lamar big. There you go. I agree with you. I agreed. Go back to draft night with Des Ritter said they don't fucked up, right? He was upset about that. He really was upset. He got drafted in the 3rd round. He thought he should have went earlier than that, but things work out the way it's supposed to work out. The Atlanta Falcons sat down, they stick to their board, they didn't jump the gun. They were holding to the 74 pick, and they might have got their franchise quarterback. We don't know, but I agree he does have a chip on his shoulders, man, and let's see what he can do. 4 games is definitely not enough. I don't think. And so my thinking right now, just my thinking about the quarterback position. When we'll move on to talk about veteran guys, but my thinking right now, unless they go ahead and try to go for the fences again and try to get a Lamar Jackson like they went for the fences for Deshaun Watson. I would say that Desmond Ritter is probably going to be our starter going into next season. How long before Lamar is out on injuries? Great point, right? He's a running quarterback. That's what he do. That's what scares. I mean, that's why Baltimore don't want to give him that big contract that we're talking about because of that. But guys, just to end the statement on the veteran quarterbacks, like I said, just looking at that unrestricted free agent pool that's there, it's definitely not promising. Like I said, Marcus Mariota, what they're gonna do with his contract? He's still on the contract. They can release him. They have to release him before started the new league year, or they're gonna owe him $12 million. So they will have to go ahead and make a decision on that. Sam Darnold, Teddy Bridgewater, Jimmy Garoppolo, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Jacoby Brissett, some other guys out there. But you know, unless the Tennessee Titans release a guy like Ryan Tannehill, um, I don't really see veteran quarterback coming in, which put me to the point. When we start talking about the draftee quarterbacks, right? Um, and let's just talk about NFL draft when we talk about the quarterback position. Let's get this comment from EQ first. Yes, we can't draft a quarterback, but the Falcons traded Brett Favre, and look what happened. Give the kid a chance. I see a winner. He is a winner, guys. He played 50 games, only lost 4 in college. No matter where he played at, that's good. That's mean that State out there that he hasn't lost at home in almost 4 years, right? Because he lost his home game against the Falcons, right? So let's see how long he can keep that record on being a home winning quarterback. But so we talk about the NFL draft, we talk about the quarterback position, right? Honestly, I'm not like we have to have this guy, like he's a no miss guy, like a couple of years ago they talk about a guy like Trevor Lawrence, right? He was a no miss. He was a guy that everybody was thinking he was going to take and things like that, right? So I can say this. I felt like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud did really help themselves in their bowl games that they had um, this past, this past holiday, the New Year Eve games, right? I thought both of those guys really helped themselves out um, with their play, right? So going into this draft season, right now, I think the two quarterbacks, 1 and 2, is probably Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. The question is, any of those guys are can't miss guys, right? Bryce Young, very accurate quarterback, but he's kind of undersized, right? Um, CJ Stroud just really don't believe in Ohio State quarterbacks. Their track record coming out that program is really have not been really successful in the NFL, right? So they played well. Like I said, they really helped themselves out in their bowl games, but those two guys really don't scream like the Falcons gotta draft one of those guys in the first round. Anthony Richardson is another guy from Florida. Um, Hendon Hooker, another guy. Cameron Weed. I have to look up him. I don't know a lot of things about him. Watching this, I don't know a lot about him. And then of course Will Levis for Kentucky. Those are guys that's out there right now. That's in some of the guys' top 6 quarterbacks coming into this draft. So the question is, do you want 2 young quarterbacks in your quarterback room, right? And I can honestly say Desmond Ritter has not done anything in these 3 games, going to be 4, to tell me that he can't play in this game in this league. He hasn't shown me any signs that he's not capable um, of being the guy. He really have not shown any signs of that. So it would be really interesting to see the Falcons go out and feel like one of these guys is a can't miss guy. And if they feel that way, this is what you get paid the big bucks to. If you feel like one of these guys can't miss, this is going to be our starter. Go ahead and draft the guy. Um, but right now, I don't see any of these guys being that way. And from the I felt like the Falcons had a plan all year, right? I felt like no matter what, Desmond Ritter was going to get a chance to prove that he can be a starter this upcoming year. That's just my feeling on this. I believe he's going to get opportunity to prove that he actually can be a starter in this league. That's where I'm at with it. We just have to find out and see if he actually can get it done. So That's what I don't think. Matter of fact, if we was in the playoff hunt, if Marcus Mariota could have won more games, won three more games, I don't think we would have probably seen Desmond Ritter this year at all, because I think the Falcons had a plan. Um, he was going to get his opportunity next year, but these last four games probably helped them with their decision, because I think has played well enough to give them confidence that okay, we're going to give this young guy a chance. We're going to build around him, right? We got a good solid foundation, a lot of good young talent, a lot of good salary cap space. We can go out in free agency, put some veterans around these young guys, and we can make us build a solid football team going into the future. So that's the plan. I feel like they had all along, and going out and drafting another quarterback, um, who's not a a Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning, somebody like we got it at that. If it was one of those quarterbacks in this draft, definitely go get him, because Desmond Ritter is not that guy that we know of, right? We still need to see some we need to see something more. I admit that, but I think he has its opportunity to be pretty good. So um that's and we don't need a Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Um, we need a Matt Ryan light though. We really need somebody that could really play like Matty Ice did for 14 seasons. I see some of those traits in Desmond. He's poised, like I said, situational game. Um, the confidence that he has in himself to make throws. Those throws he made, we talked about in those situations. He had confidence to make those throws. So these young quarterbacks that I just talked about, just don't. I wouldn't pull the trigger. They're going to get a quarterback, pull another quarterback in a later round, bring him in, have another young guy. Like I said, the quarterback room is going to be already young right now with Woodside, but I feel like they need to get a veteran in. It would be really nice to get a guy like I said, like a Ryan Tannehill who knows the system, and dare I say, Matt Ryan to come in and be the backup for us. Two totally different style quarterbacks, but that just would be something I wouldn't mind it at all. Matt Ryan, know he's not coming back to be a starter in this league, but could come and teach Desmond Ritter. That would be awesome. So, um, and because I really feel like they just screwed Matt Ryan, man. Um, messed up his legacy just a little bit. Going to Indianapolis, man, it really did. Come back home. That would be good. Get a Matt Ryan and bring him back, something like that. So something I'm just throwing out some veteran quarterbacks that we definitely can go get. I feel like a veteran to be better coming into this program than a another young guy. Right here he says, draft me pass rush. There you go. You know what? I agree with you about drafting pass rush, but let's go get it in free agency, man. We got money. Let's go get a proven pass rusher. I don't get me wrong. I love young pass rushers and stuff like that, but let's go get a John Abraham, a proven guy. Let's go get somebody. I don't know who's out there. I haven't started looking at the free agent pool yet to see who's out there potentially that we can go get. But let's go get a proven pass rusher this year. How about that? Uh, Appreciate the insight on the Falcons. Thanks, man. No problem. Um, it took the Chiefs quarterback second year to get comfortable. Yes, and they played. You remember they played Patrick Mahomes the last game of the season that year, right? They had Alex Smith, who's a good starter in this league. Right? Won a lot of games, but they played Patrick Mahomes the last season, and yeah, we got our guy, right? Not saying Desmond Ritter's going to be Patrick Mahomes, but he has that leadership, that poise. Um, like I said, that controlling offense, things that you want to see out of a young quarterback. He has all those intangible things. Um, do you want to see the Falcons win or lose this week? I want to see them win. Now, the lower they can go in the draft is ninth if they win, right? The higher they can go is 6. So 3 spots. I don't know. 3 spots, is that really? You're still gonna get a good player. You're still gonna be in the top 10. So, um, and like I said, I'm not. I don't know a player out there right now that is like we must have. Um, I don't think we're high enough to get the guys that I would really want, like a Jalen Carter or something like that. I don't know if we're going to be high enough to get those guys anyway. So between 6 and 9, I'm fine with that. Just want to let's see Desmond Ritter get a good win against another pretty good defense. So that's what I would like to see, a win. Um, yeah, he's played well enough. I agree with you 100%. Let's see him get this last win. Honestly, he would be 3-0 if London. You're right, man. Those are good points, right? The That Saints game, I thought we had the momentum, and that catch would have put us in the spot to actually go down. And really, right, because they couldn't stop our running attack. They couldn't stop Tyler Algier. He was running the ball over them in that game, and if we convert that fourth down right there, Drake make that hold on to that ball. You're 100% correct. The momentum. I felt like in the Baltimore game, the refs cheated us. We was in a red zone twice, and I don't like talk about officiating, but I felt like the officiating is really had it out for the Falcons this year. The Tampa game, um, those big plays in last week, that was a pass interference on Demir Bird pass. That was a perfect pass by Desmond Ritter as well. That was a pass interference they did not call. Officiating's been bad. So that Baltimore game, I felt like the officiating really hurt us in that game. Matt Ryan can pre-snap read any defense. Yes, that's why I would want him as a backup, man. Bring him in as a backup, right? Um, that would be a feel good story for the Atlanta Falcons. Bring Matty Ice back, especially the way he got treated in Indianapolis. Got benched twice. That offensive line was garbage, and he still was the best quarterback on that team. And they benched him twice. Just ridiculous, man. Yep, we talking about the wins. I agree 100%. I agree with you 100%. All right, guys. So just wrap this up about Desmond Ritter and have he shown enough? I really believe he has 100%. Um, in my opinion, that's what we do on our podcast, right? We talk and have discussions. We don't know what the team is going to do, what the front office feel. All the things Arthur Smith been saying, I think he's really impressed. He's encouraged about what he have seen from Desmond Ritter. So I feel like he's going to be the starter going into next season. Just unless he just fall off a cliff in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which have you seen them play this year? They really not that good. So yep, the refs, man, the refs. Yeah. So, but I feel like they like where they're at as a team. We didn't finish what we wanted to finish. The Falcons definitely easily could have won this division this year. I felt like we was the most consistent team. We just couldn't finish our games, right? I felt like the beside from the Carolina Panthers, the way they played down the stretch, they really started playing good football. Unfortunately, they just had too many turnovers in that last game against the Bucks, but I thought the Panthers and the Falcons was the most consistent team throughout the season. The Falcons just could not finish games. And really that's what it boils down to. We definitely underachieved this year with the roster, everything I talked about. We underachieved this year, but you got to be promised about what you've seen. A lot of young guys, a lot of young talent. We just need to mix some veterans in there, right? Build a good, solid football team with a mixture of veterans and young talent with a quarterback who seems like he's competent. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes and do the things we need him to do. I think we have a chance next season. So that's the way I feel about this team going into this draft and about Desmond Ritter. So, in my opinion, I feel that Desmond Ritter has shown enough to get an opportunity to start next season. That's 100%. All right, guys, real quick. We got to get into the keys, right? This last game of the season, my last keys of the season. Been doing it every week, talking about the keys to victory for this game. It's no different this week. I really felt like it was going to be an easy win for the Falcons because I felt like the Bucks was going to sit some most of their starters, but it looked like they're not. So, like we're going to get a pretty good game this Sunday on the Falcons' last game. Neither team has anything to play for. The Bucks already have the season locked up. They know they're playing, hosting a home game in the playoffs. So neither team has nothing to play for. But the Atlanta Falcons just want to go out on a winning note, and the Bucks want to be able to get some chemistry and get some rhythm down, especially with their offensive side of the ball. So definitely probably why they going to go ahead and play their guys. But we real quick, we're gonna go to the offensive keys real quick. When I talk about offensive keys, um, no secret, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. Make sure Tyler Algier. I would love to see Tyler Algier get over 100 yards. Get over 1,000 yards. I can't remember the exact number he needs. It's gonna be tough against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers run defense, but if Tyler Algier can definitely bust over 1,000 yards, man, he could be in consideration for offensive rookie of the year. Which for me, would mean I got it wrong because I picked Drake London to win offensive rookie of the year. Drake London actually passed Kevin Ridley for the most receptions his first season as a rookie. So we had to tip our hats off to Drake London as well. I think he played pretty good this year, considering we was a really, really run heavy team. So we shouldn't lose against the Aints the first game of the season. Yep, that's definitely a win. Want to go down the list? The Aints, the Chargers, um, um, probably the Commanders. I feel like we probably if we take about that roughing the passer penalty against the Bucks the first game, give us we might have a chance to win that game. We just didn't play well against the Steelers. Didn't play well enough against the Steelers. Definitely could have won so many games, guys. You just go down the list and look at some of the games we lost. Um, Definitely, we played better in some of those games. We would be where we wanted to be. We won't be talking about this the last game of the season, but hopefully Ritter can give the Falcons our first win against Brady. Man, didn't even look at it that way. That really would be going off on a good note, right? It really would be going off on a good note. Um, when Brady is pressured, he is less accurate in his passes. Rush to him. He too big. Yeah. He don't like to get hit, man. Especially why remember he was kicking at Grady. All right. So first key, like I said, running the ball on third down completion, third down percentage. We got to be able to complete our third downs because what we want to do, we want to keep Tom Brady off the field. So we want to manage that time position, run the ball, convert third downs, stay on the field. Those long 14, 12 play drives, we can do that. That's what we want to do. And then we need to score in the red zone, right? Those are the three keys this week on offense. Run the ball, third down conversions need to be above 50% on third down conversions. Keep the ball out of Tom Brady's hand, and then we need to score points in the red zone. We need to get our scoring average back up. We was averaging like 25 points a game for a while. Then we definitely went into a point where we could not score. And our defense was holding guys to 20, 19, 20 points a game, and we were losing those games. So got to be able to put more points on the board. So we need to score in the red zone. Right. Those are our our offensive keys. Get into our defensive keys real quick, guys. Defensive keys. No explosive plays. Last week, if you watched the Tampa Bay game, they let Mike Evans go for like 200 yards. So we definitely do not want to let that happen. No explosive plays. If you feel like you're gonna go man to man, hopefully it's AJ Terrell with nobody else. We'd love to see that matchup between Mike Evans and AJ Terrell. But if you're gonna do that, be careful. No explosive plays. It's definitely gonna be my first key. We want to stop the run, right? I think Tom Brady is more comfortable now when he has a good running game. So we want to be able to stop Leonard Fournette from getting in White as well from going out and picking up a lot of yards in the run game. And then the last thing is we don't want to let Tom Brady get comfortable into a rhythm, guys, because once that happens, um, it's pretty much it's over, man. The guy get in the rhythm. He figure out what you're doing on defense. He's gonna pick you apart. So we definitely don't want that to happen. Like I said, I mean, they call him the goat. They call him the goat. But I mean, he has the accolades to back that up. So we don't want to let him get in a rhythm. So that's real simple for me on defense. No explosive plays. Let's make them drive the ball, stop the run game, and do not let Tom Brady get into any kind of rhythm. Right? We need another wide receiver to go along with Drake. 100%. Free agency or the draft. Either way, it's not a lot of draftees. When I get into the offseason, start looking at the drafted wide receiver, I'll be able to talk more about some of those guys. But from what I've been hearing, it's not a lot of dynamic wide receivers out there that's coming out of college this year. So um, we might not have to go in later rounds, which way you get more value anyway. Getting receivers, be able to create more depth that way. So, but if you're not going to go in the draft, especially a veteran wide receiver, haven't really looked into the free agent pool that well. But after this game, guys, we definitely gonna get into the offseason, start talking about that potential guys that the Atlanta Falcons could definitely be targeting um, within free agency and in the draft as well. So we'll definitely talk about that. And then, guys, last but not least, the mighty special teams, right? Another great special teams play we had this past week. Another block punt. You got to tip your hat off to Maurice Williams, our special teams coach. Um, he really seems like he know what he's doing. Um, we don't have 3 blocks this year, field goal, 2 punts. So you have to tip your hat off. Your turn for a touchdown on a kickoff return. Got the leading punt returner for his averaging yards and Avery Williams. So you want to talk about our special teams? Really, really been good this year. One of the bright spots. People really don't talk about special teams a lot, but that just speaks onto the coaching and the way the guys put the effort in on special teams. But um, my first key on special teams, you guys already know what it is. Field position. We want to be able to dictate field position. Like I said, no explosive play. So if we're going to punt the ball, kick the ball, we want to be able to make them go the long haul. Don't give Tom Brady a short field. We got to be able to dictate field position. Um, Second key, hey, we've been doing it all season long. Let's make another explosive play on defense, on special teams. Get another block. Potentially, let's see, can CP go for number 10? You never know, right? So something like that. Let's see, can we make it happen? A big play on special teams, and then let's go ahead and say Young Way Cool kicked the winning field goal to end the season, right? Like we did last week. Run the clock out, kick it in, game over, right? End of the season. So let's end it off on a good note, something like that. Young Way Cool had a down season compared to his last 2 seasons, but still pretty accurate kicker. I thought that was good money to lock up, have him for the long haul. It's only going to get better. But we always got to remember, guys, all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. Um, Special teams really helped us out last week. Got it back in the game. Kind of made up for that, botch snap between Ritter and Dahlman. And that's the question: what we gonna do with our center position? Arthur Smith really seems like he lost Drew Dahlman. Um, he's only going to get better, guys. He really is. It's just his second year, full season, first season starting. All the games he started this year. Only going to get better. So we just have to see what they decide to do at that center position. The big question is the left guard position, of course, right? We got to be able to solidify that position. We've been playing musical chairs for like the last couple of seasons. That left guard position, Elijah Wilson's was pretty solid, but I think everybody who came and that played that position this year um, played pretty well for the most part, right? Chuma Udoka, Matt Hennessy seemed like he's going to get another turn this week. Um, and then Kobe guys that came in as well and played a couple of games at that position. So, but we got to solidify our left guard position, and we'll start talking about our own free agents. Well, a guy like Caleb McGarry, Isaiah Oliver, Lorenzo Carter, Rashawn Evans. Those are our free agents that we have. Do any of those guys deserve to be coming back? Those are some of the things we definitely going to talk about coming up this off season. But we got to go out and get our last win of the season to end off on a good note. Des Ridder put more good stuff out on film for the good of Falcons. More reasons to believe that he can actually be our starter moving forward. So, guys, that's all I have. Really enjoyed talking to you guys today about Desmond Ridder. Give you my last keys to victory for this season. And I'm really excited about the off season. You know, now nonstop football year round. We got the playoffs coming up. I don't care who wins, be honest with you, no more. Long as it's not the Dallas Cowboys. So I kind of do care. As long as the Dallas Cowboys don't win, I'm good. Whoever goes out and win the Super Bowl this year. Um, that's all I have, guys. Let me know what you think. We got another question here. Ask question of the night. Which Falcons jersey would you buy if you didn't have any? So, you know, I only got one Falcons jersey. And so I'm kind of a stickler about this. I really am. Right? Because I'm an older guy anyway. So, but you got to do something for me to buy your jersey, right? I love the Falcons. Don't get me wrong. I love the guys. It's some ballers, for this team, right? The only Falcon jersey I got is a Deion Sanders jersey, right? Prime time. That's it. But if you're gonna go out and get a Falcon jersey, you got to get some of the guys that's did something with this organization, guys. That's just my opinion, right? If you're gonna go out and get Julio played for 11 years, Matt Ryan played for 14 years. Some guys in the ring of armor, Jesse Tuggle, right? Some of these young guys, but if you're going to talk about getting a young guy jersey, go out and get a Kyle Pitts jersey, right? It's going to be a monster. Go out and get a Drake London. He's going to be a monster. Tyler Algier, I think he's proven he's going to be a monster. So some of those younger guys you can go out and get. But for me, myself, you got to do something for me to go out and get your jersey, for me to represent. I'm a Falcon fan. I wore Falcon paraphernalia all day, but for me to rock one of somebody's jersey, they got to go out. Deion Primetime was a showstopper. He's a Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl winner. No, he did not finish with the Falcons, but guess what? The Falcons didn't even offer him a contract. Can you believe that? This just baffles me, man. The Falcons back in the days, let Brett Favre go, let Deion Sanders go, right? Wow. We need a backup quarterback. You missed it earlier, man. They're going to keep Marcus Mariota or not? That's the question. They're going to keep Marcus Mariota. I stated earlier, I think he quit on a team, so I think they need to find another veteran quarterback. We went down the list. It's not a whole bunch of veteran quarterbacks out on the free agency market. So unless you're gonna go for it, go for a Lamar Jackson sweet state, you're gonna be really, really getting a backup quarterback that you really probably don't. Hopefully, he don't have to play. If you're trying to win games, so unless you just stick with Marcus Mariota, who already knows the system. So, guys, that's all I have. Really enjoyed talking to you guys today. We're gonna talk a lot more this off season. So many things. Can't wait to start getting to some of the later draft picks. See, can I pick right again? I picked Tyler Algier. to get drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in the later rounds. Um, Great pick. I really felt like that was a good pick for us, and it proven to be he's going to be a stud for years to come. So, um, didn't get lucky at all in the earlier rounds. I was way off on all those picks, but I did pick Tyler Algier. Um, See who I can actually look up and pick this year, especially in the later rounds. Because, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this was just based off the information that I had got that they was scouting him. They really liked his workout that they had and things like that. So that's why it kind of tied them to the Falcons. And I knew we needed a running back because we had got rid of Mike Davis. So um, that's where the Tyler Algier pick came from. But I really, really like that pick. I think most of you guys do too. And I think we can start talking about what his name, Bijan Robinson, right? Thanks, man. Come back for the off season stuff. We're really gonna start getting to it. So, guys, that's all I have. Like I said, this is your boy Recondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.